I have never seen parents as adversaries, ever. In the school, they are my partners. If you don't do this, I will still love you. My love does not diminish. My love is not inversely or directly proportional to your marks. कि 100 आएंगे तो मैं प्यार करूंगा, 40 आएंगे तो प्यार नहीं करूंगा. प्यार तो मेरा अडिग है. It's there.
Right.
That confidence a child should have that my parents are with me. I think time has come where you embrace differences, you embrace diversity. Please keep that child closest to your heart. It will be horrible if parents and children drift apart because of these differences.
Welcome to the Learning Circle, the ultimate video podcast for educators and parents who want to unleash the full potential of children. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of learning with the help of thought leaders who will share their knowledge and stories with us. This is your host Kavleen Kaur, and I'm excited to take you on this journey. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and entertained. As an educator, I have seen one truth play out again and again. The most powerful educational change happens only when both the school and parents work together. In these challenging times, the partnership between school and parent isn't optional. It is essential. Every one of us, whether we are a parent or an educator, want our children to feel safe and inspired. Today, we will discuss how we can make this happen. And we are starting strong with a person who bridges both the roles, Miss Aditi Mishra, ma'am. She is both a principal and a parent. It's an honor to have you on board, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kavleen.
Okay, so ma'am, I would like to ask you how being a principal has enabled you as a parent and vice versa. That is number one. And any moment that you can recollect as a principal where you realize that the school, the teacher, and the parent partnership is really critical.
Thank you for the question. So, I think I always tell people that I'm first a parent, I'm second a teacher, and in the end of I think of myself as a principal. That's a job I do. What I am, it's not a job. I'm a parent by choice and by passion, and likewise as a teacher. I've always been a teacher for the past 4 decades now. So I think those roles are pretty much intertwined. That one of being a teacher and of being a parent, and both have influenced each other. Because as a parent, when I look at my students, I always think of them as my children. So if I check them or if I tell them that something is going wrong, it is because I genuinely care about them. At home, my children had to have a teacher as a mom. They didn't have a choice. And it was a very orderly house because, as a teacher, you have to be a little organized. So there was a time for studies, there was a time for storytelling, there was a time for chatting, there was a time for playing a board game. It was pretty much, I wouldn't say regimented, but it was sort of scheduled in a certain way. So my kids grew up in a slightly, organized way. We had our fun. It was not a military camp, but there was a time for everything. And for me, that whole thing of being a parent and being a teacher was not really a division. Um, I think a lot of my children who I've been teaching for the past 40 years would have recognized that what I'm saying is probably what their mama would also say. So I have not had very, rebellious kids. And most of my students are still in touch with me. I meet them. I've gone for their weddings. Some of them have come back to me as parents. So life has taken almost a full circle. When I became a principal, I was a very young principal, Kavleen. I had no experience of being an administrator, but I think the management saw something in me, a spark as a head of department, and they made me a headmistress first. And I started the school in Gurgaon as a young headmistress. And the day one, I realized the I won't say the power, but the influence a parent holds. It was a very tough day for me. That was the day one of school opening. And parents were also obviously watching that what's going to happen. It's a new school, it's a new principal, and let's see what happens. And when dispersal time came, there was a little bit of bedlam because we started with a slightly large number. We had almost 900 children in school on day one. And I was trying to organize them in my own way that, go into classes, and this is the route for S1, this is the route for S2, this is S3.
Right.
Private children, those who are going with their parents, come on this side and we'll make a line. There was utter chaos.
Oh,
And there were parents who was, shouting, "Where's my child?" I said, "Nobody's gone out anywhere. Don't worry, they're all over here. Maybe they're, 10 feet behind."
right.
And then two parents who among that group suddenly got up. I wasn't shouting. I was just calm down. They're all here. Nobody's gone out. Nobody's run out of school. These two parents got up and they shouted.
Oh,
Said, "Will you be quiet? Can you see she's trying?"
yeah.
And somehow a parent, standing up was more heard than the other parents, and they just quietened down. So I said, "Can you see she's here? She's not gone away. Teachers are here. They're doing it for the first time in this new school. Give them a chance." The moment the parents quietened down, I became calmer. The children who were on the verge of tears stopped and they started looking, "Okay, okay, now, things are happening."
Right.
And the next 10 minutes, we had dispersed 900 children.
Oh, yeah.
That was the day. It was like an almost like an, I can say, like a revelation for me, that if I have parents on my side, life is going to be very smooth. And that has been my mantra right through. I have never seen parents as adversaries,
Mm,
ever. In the school, they are my partners. The very fact that they have chosen my school from among the hundreds that exist in a certain city means there's something that they have in common with either my ideology or my pedagogy. I may be my thought process, because it's pretty much open. What I think, what I do, it's on my website, our vision, our mission. So the very fact that they are, choosing my school means that they are sort of aligned with what I'm thinking. Sometimes there is a misunderstanding, or they don't understand why are you doing it this way. I
mm,
have very open communication. I send out newsletters. We have functions in school. During the pandemic, I made it a point to send video messages once a week. They were very short, 2 3 minute video messages, but all little, filled with hope that, it's
right.
not the end, and just keep your spirits up. Because when the spirit dies, a lot of things get
Yes.
missing. So
Yes.
keep the spirit up. Of course, we are all logged in. Everybody's logged in.
Yeah.
But वो lock in में क्या कर सकते? So I would think of crazy things like, okay, take out some old photograph
Mm,
and recreate that photo. So
mm,
this mother had a photo of her two little babies on her godi, and she
mm-hmm.
took a photo of these two. Now they're big. One was in class 8, one was in class 10. She
Right.
took a photo. She said, "Ma'am, what a great idea. We reconnected over these old photos, taking them all out, choosing which is the right one." Actually, half our day was gone. हमें पता ही नहीं चला Saturday कब शुरू हुआ, कब खत्म हुआ, and we had so much of laughter in the house. So little things like, you connect with parents and you realize that when parents are on your side, it's not that my life becomes smoother. The
Mm,
child is the beneficiary,
right.
because he or she realizes that these are the two adults who genuinely care for me, the teacher and the parent, and whatever they are saying may sound extremely cruel right now, but eventually it's going to help me in some way.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, ma'am, you have shared really powerful cases where, first the parents stood up for the principal and the teachers, and this really changed the environment immediately and got, achieved the result of dispersal quickly. And second is you, as a principal, suggesting some activities which actually
Keeps
nurtured the
the happiness
yeah,
happiness quotient keeps high.
yes, quotient high. The beneficiary is the child, and that is
Absolutely.
the ultimate aim for both the parents and the
Yes.
school. So it's a
Yes.
win-win situation for both. Would you like to share another case study or a guideline that if there is a conflict on a issue or a bigger idea, then how do schools go about addressing it, and how do parents actually put their trust in
Understand.
the teacher and also put their point across and resolve the conflict?
So I am a great proponent of conversation.
Mm,
Conversation at every level. When a parent and a child disagree or a child is miserable, I say have a conversation. If there are two teachers who are disagreeing, I say have a conversation, have a coffee, bill it to me if you want, but go and have a conversation.
right.
It's the same with parents. So the only time in all these years, it's happened just twice that the whole group of parents sort of arose up because they didn't want a fee hike at a certain
Mm,
time. It
mm,
was years ago. I've almost blotted it out of my memory, but it happened. It was unpleasant.
okay.
And what was hurtful was that, we were bending over backwards trying to help parents, trying to, ease out the problem. And while the parents were very happy with school, that is, ours is a school where teachers haven't left. So the child who was being taught by a teacher in 2004, when the younger child came, the teacher was still there. You know, so there's a great sense of camaraderie and the continuity that exists.
Right.
And yet, I had these parents putting pamphlets outside about down with the school and very negative
Right. Yeah.
feeler. So I felt very bad. And I asked a couple of people, what are you doing? And other principals said, we're ignoring it. Now, I can't ignore. That's my problem. So I called them to school. And I said, it's an open invitation, but please remember, I have only 600 ka seating in the Audi. So please come and let me explain to you why the fee has to be hiked, what is our expense and what is the student number, etc. And we showed everything on the screen to the parents in the Audi. I'm happy to say that only about 200 parents came, not even 600. Of those, I still remember the name of that lady who got up in the middle of my presentation and she said, ma'am, may I take the mic for a minute? And I got a little worried. I said, I don't know what she's going to say. You know, she's taking the mic and kuch aur hi na ho jaye.
Mm.
She just came to the mic and she said, I am ashamed of myself and so should you be. Why is ma'am having to explain to us? She says, I just got a message that we have to reach school. I didn't know what the purpose was. I just came because I stay close by. But when I'm listening to her almost defending her stance, I'm ashamed because I chose the school for my child. I chose it with open eyes. And yes, if we want to retain teachers, we will have to hike the fee. And saying this, she walked out.
Mm.
Behind her, about 30, 40 people walked out.
Mm. Right.
But the others stayed. So I kept having a conversation. So a meeting that was supposed to last for about 45 minutes, Kavleen, went on for 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
I had to break. I said, go and have a cup of tea, have coffee. You know, my throat is dry. You must be tired. And why are you not convinced? At the end of the day, I'm not trying to convince you. That conversation helped me. It gave me confidence. I think it eased a lot of confusion in the parents' mind that why is the fee being hiked? And eventually, everything became smooth.
Mm.
So my conviction that conversations help also took root that anything that is going wrong, just have a conversation, explain your point of view. 99.9% you will have success.
Right. Conversations are the key, and the very purpose of this podcast is to
Is
have these conversations so that we can actually bring everybody to the table and put the points across to each other. So, thanks
yeah.
for sharing that, ma'am. Now, I would like my audience to actually take the mic, as you said, and share their inputs, take the keyboard, and share in the comments that what parent and school partnership means for you and how it can be strengthened. Please do share your comments because, as ma'am said, conversations are to be carried out. They are the places where things get addressed, right? So moving on, ma'am, another important aspect, and that is the exam stress. Even the most involved, most educated parents face this struggle how to balance, getting good marks, inspiring the students, and also maintaining their mental, physical health. So you must have seen several cases where good success was achieved and also cases where things didn't go the right way. So I would like you to share and guide our parents on how to guide their children to do the academics well, but also safeguard their mental health.
So the first thing I always tell parents is don't put pressure. Never put pressure. I have not put pressure on my children. I have two children of my own. And pressure doesn't work actually.
Hmm.
And neither is your child's academic performance genetically inspired. I have seen some parents who are very basic and some maybe not even educated, but their children did very well. I've seen some parents who were toppers and gold medalists whose children haven't done well. So no parent should presume that just because they were gold medalists and toppers, the child will also be the same. It's not happening. And the more you rub it in, the more the child hates it and they, you know, push back.
Pushback,
They
yes.
don't like it.
Yes.
Um, as a parent, my older child was a little more studious and she was, at it all the time and she did very well, academically and co-curricular wise. My son was more playful,
Hmm.
but he wanted there's a reward that the school gives. It's called a scholar badge to everybody who gets above 80. He
Yes.
wanted that.
Hmm. Hmm.
I said, it's not for sale. Work for it, you'll get it.
Yes.
I have no problem. I said, if you don't get it, it doesn't bother me in the least.
Mm.
You still remain my son. I will still love you. I don't believe in punishing. If you want it, you work for it. If you don't want to work for it, it's okay. You'd rather do some sports. You'd rather do taekwondo. He was very good at sports and very good at taekwondo. He was a natural sports person. I said, carry on. मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So the moment you impose your aspiration on the child, I think it's not very fair.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe that every child finds their niche somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
ये तो है ही नहीं. This is the, I think the cosmos and the universe has a space for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody will find that space. Some are lucky enough to find it at 17, 18. Some will find it at 25. Some will find it at 30. So the more you push a round peg into a square hole, it's not going to work.
Right. Right.
तो क्या फायदा? You're ruining a relationship with your child. रोज घर में झाएं झाएं हो रही है, बच्चा फिर भी नहीं पढ़ रहा. Why get into that? Yes, have a conversation. Conversation should say that this is the reality, beta. This is what good colleges want. This is what, if you want to do this, you have to do this. And if you also realize that if you don't do this, I will still love you. My love does not diminish. My love is not inversely or directly proportional to your marks. कि 100 आएंगे तो मैं प्यार करूंगा, 40 आएंगे तो प्यार नहीं करूंगा. प्यार तो मेरा अडिग है. It's there.
Right.
That
Right.
confidence the child should have that my parents are with me.
Yes.
I'm not able to get marks. It's because I'm not working hard enough. And why am I not working hard enough? It could be multiple reasons. There are children who don't like a certain subject. Now most school boards are allowing you to leave a certain subject if you cannot do well in it. Choose something else. So why this passion ki nahi yahi karna hai, whether you can do it or not, whether it's making you miserable, you have to do this subject. I think again conversation. Why are you not doing well in this? Why is it that you're not able to achieve what? Because children, nobody has to tell them. If they're not doing well, they do feel miserable. तो या तो उनको पेप अप करो. Those who are sports persons, we've told them, you're playing district level some game or state level, it's okay, just get a 40. I don't want anything more. Fail मत हो जाना बेटा, because then I can't push you to the next class, but just get a 40. Fine, they'll still do very well. Look at the happiness quotient, look at the achievement, look at the confidence. You can't get that in a classroom. So I think my message to parents is stop putting pressure. If a child is not studying, have a conversation कि क्यों नहीं पढ़ रहे? What is the distraction? Tell them the consequences of this without screaming and shouting.
Yeah.
Tell them college नहीं मिलेगा बेटा. Tell them इसके बाद job नहीं मिलेगा बच्चे. There are competitive exams which are all based on your curriculum. क्या करोगे?
Right.
So that reality check, children are very clever. I don't believe that parents say no, ma'am, children don't understand. They understand everything. You think they don't understand. एक बार बैठ के बात तो करो. सब उनको समझ आ रहा है, बताओ, पूछो क्या करना है, and then remold it in some way.
Right.
And in today's day and age, especially, there is so much a child can do, which parents have not even thought of. I don't know what the future holds. 5 years from now, what jobs will come? I have no idea.
Right.
So what am I preparing children for? Prepare them for change. Things will change. Accept, embrace, adapt.
Right.
Be happy. Do not do anything. Don't get into any situation which makes you unhappy.
Right.
That's it. For me, the happiness quotient is the most important.
Yeah, that's the key. And as you said, have the conversation. But the underlying thing is that the love is not dependent upon
Absolutely.
the performance of
Absolutely.
a child. That message has to go across. But you also said that the parents have to help their child find their niche. So how parents can do that? Because normally what happens is that the parents guide the students based on their previous knowledge. They are aware of the professions.
So supposing, for example, if a child says, I want to be a singer, YouTube पे 1 million videos they'll get about how to be a singer, what are the pitfalls, what are the challenges. देखो उनको. Educate yourself. If you choose to become a parent, it's a full-time job.
Yes.
Educate yourself. I have a friend in England. Her son was very keen on music as a career. Very keen. And she wasn't sure whether he's good or not. So she did the wisest thing. She took him from one pub to the other. She says, Tum gao. If people come and put money in your hat, that means you're good and people are listening to you.
Right.
Otherwise, you get the hint. किसी ने सुना ही नहीं बेचारे का. So without hurting his feelings directly and without telling him कि rubbish बिल्कुल नहीं गाना गाओगे, message was loud and clear. She says he sulked for 2 days, then he was fine. He says, I'm not good enough. Great message.
That was a reality check for the
Reality
child.
check for him, in the nicest, kindest way.
Nicest, kindest way. It didn't come as a negative comment from the parent.
No, why should the parent comment? उनको क्या पता कि कौन सा कैसा अच्छा गायक होता है, कौन सा नहीं होता. Let the audience tell you whether you're a good singer or not. My other point is that whether anything else, which is like whether it's sports or it's music or dance or theater, you cannot be average. You'll get nowhere. You have to be very good.
Yes.
Whereas in other spheres, in academia, an average person can also get somewhere. Maybe not rise right to the top, but somewhere in the middle, they'll find their space and they'll be happy over there.
Right.
Mid management level,
Yes.
upper mid management level, they'll be happy over there. So find that happiness. Who says happiness is a certain one definition and one size will fit all? I don't agree with that. And happiness to be equated with marks and to be equated with a big house or a big car is the biggest mistake. You can be miserable in that big house.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially when, as a child, you have been forced into that kind of a profession which you were not
Not fair.
forced to. It's not fair. Right. But then, the children have to be slowly coaxed in the right direction and not with a danda. That's the message that
Folks
we have.
talk. There's so many opportunities now for work shadowing. Somebody who says, "Oh, I want to be a doctor." Now, why do you want to be a doctor? Is it because it looked fancy in some Netflix series? It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
रात रात नींद सोने को नहीं मिलता है.
Yeah.
You have to see all kinds of things. Work shadowing करके देखो. 2 दिन रह जाओ. If you survive, have a reality check. Like I want to be an engineer. So one of the engineer parents said, can you stay in an isolated place where the next cinema hall and the restaurant is 1 hour away? They said no. He said, but पहले तो engineer को ये मिलता है. You're given some hydroelectric project or some dam project or something. वहाँ पे बैठोगे तुम.
Yes.
First, the nearest cinema hall is 1 hour away. फिर, so then you're not fit for that. No? Think, rethink.
Right. So it's all about having conversations and then first being open to listening to the
Understand.
child, understanding what he or she wants, and then also exploring along with the child what that particular profession means, whether the child is capable for it or not, and then
Absolutely.
taking a joint decision. So that's very important. And but when we talk about very young kids, probably in the primary stage, at that time it is very essential for the kids to learn everything basic numeracy, literacy. That is very important. And in today's time, I see a lot of pushback from the primary children also. And in fact, we have a question from one of our esteemed associate, Mr. Arjun Jan, and he has asked that how do we motivate young kids to tackle tedious things or hard subjects like memorizing tables. Even my son, who's 10-year-old, is not ready to learn memorize tables, which
अब
is
आजकल nobody memorizes anything. I don't necessarily agree with that, but there's no need. You have a calculator. क्यों दिमाग पे जोर दे रहे हो जब सब कुछ calculator कर ही रहा है? It was a training that was given to us. We learned tables, we learned spellings,
yes, yes,
we learned poems.
yes,
अब वो सब नहीं होता है. It's a
right.
new way. So why go back to that old ways? जरूरत ही नहीं है. When nobody is doing it, why should you be the one? Tables are available at the drop of a hat. है ना? Plus, I mean, we still want the children to know. So in many of the schools, we've got tables put on the walls. So चलते फिरते, the visual memory is very strong and the child remembers in that way. So
Right.
sight words, you don't have to remember the spelling, but वो sight word ऐसा है कि जैसे बच्चे ने पढ़ा उसको, without knowing the spelling, he knows that this is what it is. So even pedagogy has changed quite a bit. So memorizing is somehow not on the top priority right now. Understanding is more important. More than understanding, how to apply that knowledge is more important. Simply memorizing something is not going to help in the long run.
So that's a lesson that we as a parent should also become students,
Yeah.
see what is required in today's time and not really push for something which worked in our times. And that brings me to the second question from the viewer, that how do we develop skills like, I would not call them skills, these are in fact personality traits like grit, perseverance, flexibility. These are, I think, the skills or the traits which are very much required today, and going forward, the times are going to be even more challenging. So, how do we help our children develop these kind of traits?
Very good question. A very simple answer. These are not taught. These are imbibed.
Right.
So I learned discipline because my parents were disciplined.
Mm.
They spoke a very good language at home. It was either English, Shuddh, or Shuddh Hindi.
Mm.
There was no tu tadak in my house, so I didn't learn it. Nobody to tell me. When
Right.
the first time I heard a tu, when I came to Delhi, I thought it was somebody was actually abusing me. I was so taken aback.
I can relate to that, ma'am, totally. I can
I
relate to
had
that.
never heard Oye and Abe because you don't hear it. So
Yeah.
when you live in a certain way, now my kids saw me going to school when I was feeling a little under the weather.
Mm-hmm.
I never stayed at home.
Mm.
And I felt that, my if I don't go, what will my students do? They'll be up to some mischief. Syllabus kaise khatam hoga? I used to be very worried about it. So I have actually gone to school, I've popped pills, I've gone with a 102 fever,
Oh.
taken my 2-3 classes and come back home.
Mm.
So the lesson to my children was work is worship.
Yes.
It was not just a slogan.
Right.
It was that my mama went despite the fever.
Mm.
She's done her work. She couldn't stay on just to be visible there, so she's come back home. And I have not taught this to my children, but I see them doing it now. They are both working. I've never seen them goofing off work. They work very hard. They work beyond office hours quite often. And they're happy doing that. I mean, it's not even forced on them.
Right.
Likewise with caring. They saw us caring for our family members. They've picked it up from us.
Mm.
There is not a single family event that I have missed if it's after school hours and especially if it's on a weekend. So they've imbibed that family is important. If somebody is celebrating something on a Wednesday afternoon, you cannot go. You're at work. But
Right.
if the celebration is happening on a Friday night or a Saturday morning or a Sunday daytime, we will show up whatever may happen. So
Right.
I didn't teach it. It was not a lesson. They
Mm.
saw me doing it. So वो imbibe हो गया. So
Mm.
if a parent wants a child to have grit, they have to exhibit grit.
Right.
They have to exhibit determination. They have to exhibit discipline. They have to exhibit caring. You can't be doing something and expecting something else from children.
Right. So you
So
have
I
to
have a
be.
very interesting example. If you want, I can share with
Oh,
you.
yeah, definitely.
There was this little child in class 3-4. He had started telling lies for no reason. मतलब
Oh.
एक होता है किसी कारण से झूठ बोल रहे हो.
Mm-hmm.
छोटे बच्चे कभी भूल जाते हैं. We tell them don't do it. We don't even reprimand them, but बोल देते हैं गलत बात है ऐसे. He had become habitual.
Mm.
So finally he was brought to me कि मैम something is wrong. He's just एक के बाद एक झूठ बोलता है. So I asked him, why are you saying it, beta?
Mm.
So he did this with his shoulders. I said, अरे, there should be a reason. Are you scared? No. I said, who's taught you? We don't teach you to tell lies.
Mm.
This is my mama's taught me.
Oh.
I was very taken aback. I said, mama's taught you? How's that possible? He says, yes, mama's taught me. I said, "Bhai, mama ko bulao." So they said that she comes to pick him up. So I said, I'll meet her. So I called her, sat down, chatted. I said, this is what he has said. She says, no, I never tell lies.
Mm.
So I said, why did he say mama has taught me this? So we called him in again. So he looks at her, he says, last week or last month, whatever, they don't understand time so much. When Masi rang up,
Mm-hmm.
you said, tell her I'm not at home. So the lady started crying.
Yeah.
I said, "नहीं रो नहीं." She said, but I was busy. I said, then the answer should have been, tell her I'm busy, I'll call back.
Mm.
आपने ये क्यों बोला मैं नहीं हूँ?
Mm. Right.
नहीं हूँ तो बच्चा's little mind is confused. He's only 7.5, 8. He sees you are there and you're saying मैं नहीं हूँ तो झूठ है. वो तो बिल्कुल सरासर झूठ है. अगर आप बोलती कि I'm busy, I'll call back, that was a such.
Right.
He would have learned that. That was a revelation for me. The children pick up these nuances.
Yes.
We don't realize it. We don't think about it.
Yeah.
But this was really an eye opener that children actually little things they notice, and they're very very observant, and they pick out these things.
Right. Very true, ma'am. And it's such a simple example, but a powerful one. We all sometimes do such things that, oh,
Ah,
you just do that. It's no big deal. I would would have called my sister anyways. But the child cannot really understand the whole context
Yes, of
because she's
course.
just listening to the cues which are there in front of him, mama being there and saying something else.
Absolutely.
So, yes, that brings out the point that learning doesn't just stop when the school bells ring. Children are learning everywhere from every one of us
All
all the time, and so modeling the behavior that we want in our children is the only way that we can help
absolutely.
them develop these traits. So
Ab-
thanks for sharing these examples, because we as parents, with examples, these things will stick in our mind, that whatever we say in front of our children is going to have an impact in the way
Absolutely.
their character develops. Moving on, we have talked about the mental health, we have talked about the career options that children can choose today, and also some of the traits. Now, coming on to the big elephant in the room, the technology, and it of course has its own benefit. We are having this conversation thanks to
Absolutely.
technology, and children also have a lot of learning opportunities. But technology brings with it its own risks. So, as an educator, what are the guardrails the parents should have at their home, on their devices, or should there be a manifesto as a family on how technology should be used by their children? Please help us understand this and guide the parents on this aspect.
I genuinely think that till the age of 14, 15, children have no reason to touch a device.
Okay.
If they have homework or they have some research work, those days are gone where we take out encyclopedias from dusty library shelves and look at them. Everybody goes to Google. At that time, the parent must be there by their side to ensure that what is being looked for is something academic and something for a project and not something inappropriate. Certainly, there has to be some essential agreement, because what is happening now. In the past few years, we are coming across some very dangerous trends.
Mm.
There's something called digital dementia, which is happening to children.
Okay.
Dementia is something which happens to elderly people.
Yes. Yes.
Memory loss,
Yes.
sleep loss, forgetfulness, amnesia,
Mm.
um, not being able to blink. All these things are happening.
Mm.
If it's happening to an 11 or 12-year-old, there's
Oh,
something seriously wrong.
yes.
Okay? To get a child to then at that age even talk about digital detox is, I think that's very strange.
Mm.
आपने intoxicate होने क्यों देर के अब detox करना पड़ रहा है? So I think keep the child engaged in such a way. And I know there are challenges here. Sometimes both parents are working, they're not at home. So I would suggest that children should maybe go from school to some hobby class, or they should, bring back the good old joint family system where
Mm.
the nani dadi are there to tell a story or to get homework done or to teach a craft. Simple thing, little things.
Right. Right.
So something has to be done that keeps the child away. So if they go to a hobby class, I've seen children who are dancers
Mm.
or into sports are very rarely on the device. Hey, nahi.
Right. Right.
The second thing is, I think parents have to again model that behavior. They cannot be stuck to the phone all the time.
Right.
So in many places I've seen, the phone is an extension of the hand. You
Mm.
go out for a restaurant, to a restaurant, we are all chatting, we're with family or with friends, and you see a little family there. Husband is on the mobile, my wife is on the mobile, दोनों बच्चों के सामने एक छोटा सा डिवाइस खोल के रखा है कि गेम खेलो. This is a time for conversation, talk. And then parents feel bad कि मैम वो तो बताता नहीं है. We ask how was your day, he says fine.
Mm.
That's it. I said that's not a question to ask. I said, how was your day? I don't know. There were some good parts, there were bad parts. When we had dinner, there was no, I mean, the mobile phones had come in our life, but it was kept away. And
Mm.
I used to begin, tell me the best part of your day today.
Mm.
So they were forced to think. तो वो memory चली ना कि
Yeah.
first period में क्या हुआ, second में क्या हुआ, break में क्या हुआ,
Right.
and what was the worst part? What could you, if you could change, what would you change? तो लंबे लंबे conversations होते थे. Then I had to also answer. Worst part क्या था, मेरा best part क्या था, और मैं अगर कुछ change कर सकती मैं क्या करती.
Mm.
So every in that you also, like parents say ना, ma'am, we can't tell children. I said I should tell my children everything. The month we were broke, I would tell them we are broke because the TV broke down. We had to buy a new kettle. This happened, that happened. This time we're not going out 4 times in a month.
Mm.
We can only go out twice for a movie and dinner. हम हर weekend पे नहीं जाएंगे. What is the harm? You make children partners ना, सिर्फ नाम से partner नहीं बनाओ. If you have a bad day at office, share it with your child, because then they will tell you that they had a bad day at school. They will not bottle up. They will not think it's something harmful or bad or taboo to talk about something negative कि मुझे आज दुख लगा या मैं आज रोया. It's natural, it's normal. So let's normalize negative emotions also and talk about them openly, not bottle them up, because bottling up से क्या होता है, one day there is an explosion.
Right.
And that's not good.
So, very essential points. You talked about two things. One,
Conversation again, फिर वही आ गया ना.
again,
Conversation.
yes. So, keeping the children engaged, whether it's
Engaged.
hobby classes or with grandparents, extended family, is important. And then modeling the right behavior in front of the child is key. But there is another aspect, ma'am, especially with teenagers, and that is a peer pressure. You know, so many times we hear, "Mama, everybody in my class has a phone."
टाइम ना वो झूठ है, एक बार वो सबसे मिलने चले जाइए.
हाँ.
There is no sub. In a group of 7, nobody has it. Then one child will start, this emotional blackmail with the parent. He'll get good marks or his birthday will come and he'll say, "अब तो सबके पास है, अब तो दिला दो." उसके पास आया. Now that one child becomes the influencer for everybody. I have seen this. And if parents don't talk to each other, if they don't know their friend circle, if they do not know who's giving what, then children will take advantage of that also. So have a conversation. इसमें फिर से पूछो which friend has it, मुझे नाम तो बताना. किसी के पास नहीं होगा. Honestly नहीं होगा.
So it's key for the parents also to be connected to each other, have the conversations which are important.
Of course, very important. I see. I've started having very negative views about social media because it's brought so much of negativity in children's lives. It has ruined relationships. It's ruining their brain. It's ruining their eyes. It's ruining so much. मुझे कोई benefit नहीं दिख रहा. Except that 1% chance कि वो research कर रहे हैं. तो मैं थोड़ी सी फिर बड़े harsh वाले example दे देती हूँ. Unfortunately, मेरे पेरेंट्स है ना, मैंने अपना फोन दिया था जी मैडम, उसको तो दिया ही नहीं, मैंने अपना फोन दे दिया था. अब उस अपने फोन से उसने क्या क्या कर दिया आपको पता ही नहीं चला. उसने डिजिटल बुलिंग भी कर दी, उसने किसी को परेशान भी कर दिया, उसने किसी को ट्रोल भी कर लिया, आपको पता ही नहीं चला.
So I think a lot of parents are not aware of the dangers that are there. They may just try to put some blockers on YouTube, for example, but then there are hundreds of other ways that children can exploit this. So
Yeah.
do you think that it would be good if schools can educate the parents on the dangers about these apps and devices regularly, so that the children are not exposed to these kind of risks, because very few parents are really aware. And then
So the problem for school, I will share the problem of a school. There are some very good cyber experts who come and talk especially to parents and children.
okay.
The day we organize it over the past 10 years, I have initially 500 parents who register, yes, we will come. On the finally 27 turn up.
Oh, yeah.
मैं तो घर में कुछ हो गया, मैं तो फंक्शन था, I had forgotten, I forgot about this, मैं तो मीटिंग आ गई. So somewhere this is last in their priority list. So I don't even say they must come. No reason. Don't come. But at least know what can happen. I think it's very well known. There is a cyber police now.
Yes.
If you are found bullying anybody, your matter can be reported. अब बिना मतलब में बुक हो गए, छोटे सी उम्र है, and your name is in police records for trolling. Everybody knows that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who doesn't watch TV. वो जो boys locker room incident हुआ था, तो digitally हुआ था. They made a WhatsApp group saying dirty things to each other about girls. क्यों करना है?
Yeah.
Why get into that? And why can't parents look? When parents say no, उसकी privacy होती है phone पे. मैंने कहा they live in your house. There's no privacy just now. When they go to their own house, then they can have privacy. Right now, you must know you are protecting your child. I mean, would you let them go anywhere? If they can't go anywhere without your permission physically, why can they go anywhere digitally?
Yes.
Suppose they go into dangerous sites. Suppose they go into the dark web. क्या होगा फिर? Who's answerable?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
a
a very scary world out there.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy, that if we are protecting the child physically, it's very important that each one of us actually protect the child in the digital world
Of
also.
course, नहीं कहाँ पे जा रहे हो?
Or be dangerous, and it's infinite. The child can go
Absolutely.
anywhere, just at a click of a button. And
Absolutely.
like you said, the schools do organize, but parents
Don't
don't
turn
turn
up.
up, because I think the parents need to understand that this aspect is something which cannot be ignored at all. And things change so dramatically that you may be aware of things today, but every month or so new apps come out. So it is very important for
Absolutely.
children to be connected, parents to be connected to school, to
Yeah.
attend the workshops, to see the messages related to use of digital devices. As an educator, I would say that we should also do more of letting the parents know the risks. They may not be very willing to come forward to attend, but
Hmm.
a repeated messaging can probably go out to them.
That
How
how
many
many are
parents
actually.
yeah, how many parents read these advisories and all? Yes, that's a challenge that I understand that we educators face. I think I keep on telling the message, conveying the message to everyone in all the forums. So, to our audience, there are several takeaways for you as a parent. I'm also aware that no family has the same kind of policies when it comes to use of digital technology. So, it is very important to have the conversation as a couple about how your children are going to engage with technology. And I would also request you to let us know in the comments, how are you balancing this in your home, because this could help other parents. So, moving on, can you throw some light on skills we should develop? Not the academic skills, but the personality
And
skills, or even the academic skills that, as a parent, we should
it
encourage.
all comes together eventually.
Right.
So the first thing that I would like children, parents, everyone to remember is to deal with change. You just said that change will happen. And earlier changes were happening once in every 10 years, then it became changes every 8 years, then it became 5 years. Now there are changes every year.
Mm.
Everyone should be ready to embrace that change and change along with it. So in school, I have parents having almost vapors ki section kaise change kar diya. Are, he'll make new friends.
Yeah.
What's the harm? So if you don't allow your child that freedom,
Mm.
that it's a skill to deal with that change. Okay, now I'm in a new class. I need to make new friends.
Mm.
Then we are robbing the child of some very essential skill which they must have. The second essential skill, especially in a home with single children, is learning to share and collaborate.
Mm.
It cannot be I, me, myself. Most corporates are not looking for individual players. They're looking for people who can work well in a team, gel with the team, and make the team rise together. Creative and critical thinking. कुछ चीज अगर बदल गई तो डोंट गेट इनटू अ ब्रेन फ्रीज कि अब तो मैं कुछ कर ही नहीं सकता, तो बदल गया, अब तो नाउ आई एम स्टक. Think critically, think creatively, get out of situations.
Mm.
This is all about design thinking,
Yes.
right? And I think above everything all, I want children to have a little more empathy, little more compassion, because I think this is something which video games have done over not just 5 years but about 15, 20 years.
Mm.
you know m- Games that are violent, and giving a child marks because a car has squashed a person to death, and on the screen just a red splash comes.
Yeah.
So firstly, that whole idea of death is made so heartless.
It's made
It's
into a
just red
game.
blood.
It's made
It
into a
can't be a game. But violent games are not teaching anything. The empathy is going out, the compassion is going out, that whole idea. How can you run a society where people don't feel for each other?
Mm.
So दिख नहीं रही. अब जॉइंट फैमिली में दिखती थी, किसी की तबीयत खराब हुई, एवरीबॉडी रश टू देयर हेल्प. अब वो सिंगल बच्चे के एक सिंगल होम है, किसको एम्पैथी दिखाएं, कहाँ से सीखें? तो एफर्ट हैज टू बी मेड. So I always say that living in condos, living in societies, this is your family now.
Mm.
Your neighbor is your sibling. आपको अगर प्रॉब्लम होएगी, आपको प्रॉब्लम ये लोग पहले हेल्प करेंगे,
Right.
before anybody else can come.
Right. So,
So I think that becomes important.
thanks for sharing that, ma'am. These skills that you have mentioned about dealing with change, collaboration, having empathy, creativity, and critical thinking. All these are very, very essential skill in today's time. We would like to move on to a rapid fire round, ma'am, if you're ready. Okay, so just answer this question quickly with whatever comes to your mind. First question is: parenting myth you would want to go away?
One size fits all.
a habit that makes the big difference at your home and you would encourage other parents to develop?
Conversation about everything.
Okay.
Lot of talking.
Lot of talking, yes. The most valuable lesson your children have taught you?
That one size doesn't fit all.
Oh,
Both children are very different.
yes.
Their approach to life is very different. How I work with them is very different. What their expectation of me is very different. And yet, we are very closely attached to each other.
That's beautiful. That's a message for all parents. And the next one, a book, a podcast, or a resource that you would recommend for all parents?
There's a very interesting book called The Book You Wish Your Parents Had Read, and Your Children Will Thank You That You Did.
Okay.
It's a very interesting book.
Okay, so I would request all parents to take note of it. We'll also put it in the description of the video. Do read that book. And also, as an audience, I would request you to share resources that have helped you in your parenting journey so that all parents can benefit with it. Moving on to the last question, ma'am. In one word, what should learning feel like at home?
Joyful.
That's beautiful, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing these things. I have a couple of more, but I think we will stop here. There is so much that I would like to know from you. At the end, if you can speak to every parent listening, what is it that you would want them to take away from this entire conversation?
I have just two messages to give. One is that I think by and large, whoever's watching this video has turned out fine. They're good parents, you're good spouses, you have a good home, you have a good life. Remember that your parents gave you this. So even when you are most confused, model yourself on your parents. What would they have done? You turned out fine with that parenting style. When in doubt, go back to that parenting style. That's my first message.
Right.
My second message is that this child that you have in front of you, whoever he is or she is your most precious gift of God.
Right.
So don't alienate them by imposing your will. You can teach them good and bad. You can teach them right and wrong. But don't impose things like, you have to study this or this is where you have to go and it is IIT and medical college or nothing at all. And this is who you will marry. And if you dare bring anybody else to marry, I will disown you. I think time has come where you embrace differences, you embrace diversity. Please keep that child closest to your heart. It will be horrible if parents and children drift apart because of these differences.
Right. And these are the key and very beautiful messages, ma'am. And you have talked about these aspects and also shared a lot of examples in which these can be built. So there are a lot of takeaways for all the parents here and also for educators. Schools today are doing all these things, but the continuity has to happen at home also. So that partnership, which is the theme of the episode, is crucial. And
Absolutely.
when that happens, when the conversation flows between parents and schools, with parents and children, everybody would be in sync and things would turn out beautifully. So thank you for sharing all these insights with us, ma'am. And
Thank you.
thank you for your time. And to all the audience who is watching and listening, I hope these things resonate with you. And if they do, I would request you to share in the comment section what have been your challenges, what have been your best practices, so that we parents can learn from each other and, like ma'am said, happy conversations flowing. So do subscribe to the Learning Circle and share your inputs. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.